Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. Hey guys, today we have audio confession released by Phone Calls from Prison. Special shout out to that channel, Phone Calls from Prison. They're doing an unbelievable job, not only on Wade Wilson case, but on many, many others. We leaned on Phone Calls from Prison for the Shonda Vander Ark horror story, that murder. They got body cam footage and all kinds of phone calls and so forth. So special thank you and a shout out to Phone Calls from Prison. Wade Wilson, ladies and gentlemen, has confessed. We know that for a long time that he had confessed not only to the police, to the detectives, but he confessed to Mila, his girlfriend at the time, his biological father, Papa Steve, and also to a former employer who he was trying to get all of these folks to get him a ride, get him a ticket out of getting out of facing these murder charges. Today, we got to hear early this morning the upload of this video. And you know what? This is not an easy video to listen to. The audio parts of this is kind of hard. It's echoey. It's kind of difficult to pick up on, but they have the closed captioning on. So the closed captioning should help each and every one of us to hear what they're saying. It's not on my end. I can't control the audio. These calls come in and they get them, they upload them. So grin and bear that audio, maybe pay attention to a little bit of the closed captioning. But we're going to hear Wade Wilson talk to the detectives, talk to one detective, I believe. I didn't hear any other voices. Talk to one detective and ask for McDonald's French fries and a hamburger. And eventually he asks, Wadeicus Wilson asks for a McFlurry. I'm not making this shit up. I can't make this up. So he asks for stuff. In New York City, where I come from, when we had somebody in the box, we call the interview and interrogation room the box. If they asked for a cigarette, potato chips, French fries, a burger, we would send somebody out and we would get what they asked for. We would put it in the room with us and we would say, as soon as you tell us where Diane Ruiz, where her body is, we'll let you eat these French fries. But until you tell us that, we're not going to give it to you. So we would get it. We would then require that we get the information that we need. And in this, it kind of doesn't go that way, but it's comical to hear Wade Wilson still trying to control things and trying to get his way with giving a confession. But also, just so you guys know, before we start playing this, just 2 days before this or less, he tells Detective Bell, the interview and interrogation that we saw inside the station house the night he was apprehended, he tells Detective Bell that he didn't do this. It was Jason Shepard, the guy who drove the Hellcat, just a day before this or so. He tells that female detective, Detective Bell, and by a show of hands, who saw that interview in the chat, he tells her just one or so day ago or earlier that you should be looking into Jason Shepard because he creeped me out. This is Wade Wilson talking. He gave me bad vibes. I think you guys should be looking at him. And then I think he got on the phone with his biological father, and his father told him, hey, you got to tell them the truth. And he mentions it here. He said, I talked to my dad, and I want to give closure to the family. I want the families to lay this person to rest. He didn't even know the names. They didn't even get the name right. Like he had no idea. This guy is brutal, and he talks about some sexual stuff here. So for those of you who are kind of sensitive to this, please take it into consideration. He's definitely a psychopath. He's a control freak. He also mentions in this interview, if you guys missed it, he says to the detective, I have gotten married women to sleep with me. I use my looks and my charisma to win over my victims, my people. He said that he has gotten many, many women based off his looks and his personality. So he's bragging about that in this interview. But let's take a listen to this. Credit to Phone Calls from Prison, and thank you all for being here. Let me know if the audio is good. Again, it's going to be echoey. Let me know if the audio and the video is good as we're going.
From one of the correctional officers.
Big red. Big red.
You want to take a ride?
Big red.
Before we take a ride.
There's only one thing I want. Let's ask one thing.
Okay.
Might be a student, bring some French fries and a burger, and just take it right where you want to go.
French fries and a burger.
Bro, I'm not gonna have one. I'll do the right thing.
French fries and a burger is what he asks for. And then eventually he adds on a McFlurry to the end of that. I just want to tell you that he's read his Miranda rights here. And the detective says that the day before when he was questioned, he must have said he doesn't want to answer any more questions. In the state of Florida, you can re-question a perpetrator that's in custody. You can re-question them if they sign the waiver of their rights, and he does that here. So I just want to get that out of the way before anybody asks those questions. He did say he wanted an attorney, but in the state of Florida, if he signs that waiver, again, he requested through the corrections department that he wanted to speak to a detective. It was Wade Wilson's request, not the detectives. Wade Wilson said, I want to speak to detectives. And he did that to the corrections officers on the in the Lee County Jail.
Fair enough.
Right now, is that fair?
Okay. Well, before we take a ride, because it's just to let you know, it's not that simple. Okay. I'm gonna have to get authorization from somebody here. Okay, to make that happen. So in the meantime, all right, before we do anything, I gotta put it out there that the last time we were here, you have to talk with a lawyer first. All right. So well, before we do that, all right, I got to read your again. Okay. We're going to go from there. All right. So you have the right to remain silent.
Okay. So I'm assuming that he's in the Lee County Jail. It sounds echoey. It sounds like they came to the jail to interview him. So he came in the jail to interview him. So he's going to read him his rights. He's going to make him initial, and he's going to make him sign it. So that's how this goes.
And you say these against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions, and have him or her with you during your questions. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you decide to answer.
Just so you know, in the chat as well, it's echoing because that's how the audio is. There's nothing that you could do to fix it. There's no, this is how the recording came to phone calls from prison. He's definitely evil. Pay attention to the closed captioning. It'll help you watch and listen to this.
Any questions without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering anytime to talk to a lawyer. Do you understand each of the rights I've explained to you? Yes.
All right. And is there any possible way after I don't want the jail like segregated or anything? Is that like you can't stop that kid? Like I don't want them to put me, you know what I mean? Like me high off, put them in segregation, fine. I just want to go to the general population people.
I will ask. I don't get to make a rule here, but
you can just ask and say, hey, you know, that's cool.
So surprising enough, Wade Wilson is asking to be put into general population. He doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want to be segregated. He's asking this detective, if I give you this confession, will you not only give me a hamburger and French fries, but will you let me be in general population? So that was interesting. He asks for that, and I don't think that he does that. I don't think that he gets that.
These rights in mind, do you wish to talk to us now? Do me a favor, put your initials, and then sign the name. It's 10, right?
Yeah. So do you want me to tell you what happened on the truth? You want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Truth is, I picked the girl up. Killed her. Yeah, obviously, you'll figure, right? You know, but I picked her up somewhere by school, you know, not far from the school. The streets down, she dropped me to school. And I choked her out, so she couldn't breathe anymore. And she fell asleep, you know, she wasn't fully dead yet. Then I brought her to her, I'm going to show you guys where she's at. And she was still alive, and pushed her out of the car. And she tried to get up, and I ran her over with the car. And I ran her over like 10 times, 10, 20 times, her head, her body, I ran her over with the vehicle. So she was not moving anymore. Everything was just disfigured, her whole body. She couldn't get up. She was dead for sure. Not that.
Can I back up?
Yeah.
A couple of questions. All right. So, when you were driving, and you're driving in front of the school. How did you know, or when did you decide? When did you see her? When did you decide that you were?
I was on a rampage, and this wouldn't make it easy. I was on drugs.
Okay.
When I get on drugs, I do the wrong things out of my mind. I was out of my mind, and I was just randomly driving. I was just honestly having a random drive. I saw her walking on the road. The school's right here. She was like a couple streets over, not far. And I picked her up first. And I just remember passing school, and the way to get her in my car, I put the window down and said, hey, do you know what high school is? Where's the school that Peter showed me? She said, it's right down there. I said, I drove by there, I didn't see it. Can you please show me? She got it in my car.
Right.
Got her in my car. And then from there, we drove to the school, and I was going to drop her off. But I knew in my mind I was going to drop her off, but she needed to get dropped off there. I said, okay, you can go. As soon as she went to get out or whatever, got me by the neck and showed her what she was.
I just want to say too, again, I don't have control over the audio. This is how it was uploaded to phone calls from prison. Again, the closed captioning is there. I put it in the chat. And I'm not in the studio, so I'm working with what I have here. But it is echoey. This is how it is. There's really not much that I could do about it. But this confession here shows that he was premeditated in the murder of Diane Ruiz. When the judge sentenced him, he said, that Diane Ruiz was strangled and run over. The evidence shows that these murders were both heinous and atrocious and cruel. The second murder was cold, calculated, premeditated, and the premeditation is what helped him to get that death penalty, that death sentence. So when you listen to how Wade Wilson says what he is saying here, it's clear and concise. It's clear and evident. And this is, if these Wade Wilson wives and the people who are supporting this guy listen to this and still say to themselves, it's okay, he's still innocent, I'm going to just continue to support this guy, it just proves how mentally ill they are, but it is disgusting and it is despicable and it's really hard to listen to.
Was that the point where you took her first and took it out of the car?
I don't remember the first thing. I really don't remember it. It fell out of the car. I think maybe she dropped it. But here's the thing, when we were at the school, remember you said I got out of the car? I don't remember getting out of the car at school. But if you really told me to get out of the car, I did do that.
At that, I'm being honest with you, okay? Yeah. At that point during our conversation yesterday, I could sense that you were kind of getting frustrated and you weren't really sure if you wanted to talk or not. So I was just calling you bluff to see if you were full of shit. No, I could tell by your face that you were, but I just wanted to see. I want to see what you were saying.
So I didn't get out of the car. Did they find me first at the school? Or they find me a couple rows over? They find me the first.
The first was right in front of the school. You had pulled up and you stopped in front of the school.
That's when I was choking right there. Right there. Like 2 or 3 minutes or hour long. Sure. Choking her out right there.
And yeah, so we never saw you get out of the car at all.
Maybe the person fell out, maybe I threw it out, I don't remember.
When you picked her up, was she on the main road already?
No, the main road was here, she was on the side of the road.
How did you know how to get back into that? It's not an easy neighborhood, you just guess. Okay. Honestly,
I don't even know the area at all. And I was lucky, I even found my way back from Cape Coral back to Fort Myers. It took me 2 hours. That's when I finally got that. I was lucky I even found my way back. But eventually I did.
After you were done choking her out, okay, and you turned around and you went back north, okay, up the main road, and then you went back into the same neighborhood?
Not the same neighborhood, no.
A different neighborhood. Okay.
Which is where I'm going to show you guys where she's at.
Okay. How'd you know where to stop? You just picked a random spot? Okay.
I'm good at like internalizing things and just seeing where I can. So you just right around like that, take a good spot as well. Good. I don't know the area, not familiar with it, though. And see, when you guys have bring you to the school, and I'll be able to show you where she is.
Okay.
I'll be able to show you for sure. 100%.
After, when you drove her to where you drove her, you said that she wasn't, you took her out of the car. Did you have to like drag her out of the car?
She's still alive.
Okay.
She came back and left like 3 or 4 times. She was a fighter, like, for sure. I'll give her that. And, you know.
He choked her out. She was still alive. She came back to life 3 to 4 times. She was a fighter. I'll give her that. This man is monstrous. This is demonic, evil stuff right here, folks. He should never, ever breathe the air that we breathe. He doesn't deserve to be alive.
You know, and I was in the driver's seat, she's in the passenger seat, and I just opened the passenger seat door, just push her out. And when I pushed her out, she fell out, still alive, trying to get up, I backed up, I just ran and hit her, and she just stopped moving anymore.
When you did that, did you check to make sure that she was dead at that point?
Her arms and everything are so dismantled and so disfigured. I know there's no company that can't live from that. I didn't even have to I didn't get out of the car, didn't check. It happened with 2 guns. I know. I mean, bro, her arms look like pieces. You don't want to know. It's her. I mean, I can tell. I didn't have to check.
Did you see anybody else out there walking around at the time? Or you did?
As soon as I backed out from where she's at, there was a lady in her backyard, inside the pool, like thing. And she saw me back my car, I think. Because she never went back there and said.
Okay.
Because she saw me, I just waved at her and just drove away.
When you ended up leaving, you said you didn't know how to get back to Fort Myers.
Right.
So eventually you found your way back to Fort Myers. Is that when you ended up going back to like Joe's Crab Shack and the officer came out?
Yeah, that's correct.
Did you think that he was coming to talk to you because of what just happened?
No, I thought it was from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still going to Joel because now.
I just want to stop this for a second here because I had made a mistake. When a previous video that I did, I thought when the officer stopped him in Kristine Melton's vehicle, it was outside Joe's Crab Shack. I was under the impression that he didn't murder Diane Ruiz at that point. He had already murdered her. So it was that was my bad. I made a mistake with that. And I just want to make sure that I get that on the record that that was a mistake that I made. He had already murdered Diane Ruiz when that officer stopped him and let him drive away. So I just want to be clear and transparent with that. Let's listen to the rest of this because he goes into a lot more details here and it gets bad. And the reason that phone calls from prison put the subtitles in and the closed caption is because this was a really bad audio recording. We don't have any control of it. I can't fix it. They can't fix it. So we just have to grin and bear it and listen to it as it is, raw and unfiltered.
Now I know what I've done. Now I know that on a whole other level, it's more than better. So.
And where did you go after you left
Joe's Crab Shack?
After you left Joe's Crab, then where'd you go? When you took off?
Drove around Fort Myers. I found this lady's house, pulled it behind her head. She might have recorded something. She took a picture of the license plate. She wasn't home. And I pulled into her backyard, parked the van, parked the gate, and knew the cops were driving around. And then I went to her shed. She came home and I popped out of her shed. She was like, oh shit. I was like, sorry, wrong house. Got in the car. She opened the gate. She took a picture of my license plate. I backed out and drove away.
This is Fort Myers.
So this is something that we didn't know about. This is a brand new, at least for me. I didn't know that he went to another woman's home and backed the car behind his gate and she started taking pictures of him. I hadn't heard this story. Let me know in the chat if you heard it, but this is new news to me. And that was another potential victim. Think about if she came out to try to confront him. He goes on in this interview and says that when he's high and when he's on drugs, and he said he was very high up until the time that even when he was taken into the custody, he was still high. He said when he's high and on drugs that he was a homicidal maniac, that he would kill anybody. He talked about Diane Ruiz as being his prey, like he was a lion in the jungle hunting. And he called Diane Ruiz his prey. He said that he saw the fear in her eyes, when she knew that something was going wrong and she was in such a rush to get out of the car, she knew instinctively that he was going to do something to her. And he called her part of his prey. And that's how sick this man is. And I'm glad that this interview came out so the whole world can hear this. And then the whole world can see these whacked out women who are supporting and loving on Wade Wilson. He's a demonic monster. He's a devil.
Yeah. I can tell you this, man. Nobody ever comes to me all the time.
I figured she wouldn't have, because I look crazy. I got my pants on, no shirt, you know, I probably look a little scary and intimidated, I'm sure. So,
no shoes, no nothing?
No nothing, you know, and I didn't do anything to her, you know, I just got in the car, drove away, and then from there, I went to my buddy's place and they grabbed pictures. Okay, parked the car, went inside, he came there, I think he called the cops, or whatever, and I saw a cop pull in, so I ran out of that. And I sat across the street when there's some follow runs by this like gated area. I sat right there and I sat there for like 8 hours just watching you guys, you know, back and forth. And then I took a nap right there, went to sleep, and then woke up. And then from there I went and navigated around, went to the house where the marshals got me at. And that's where it was done until it touched.
That guy Josh in Mateo, how do you know him?
I worked with a guy on the TV show down in Florida Keys. They're friends, and I'm just business associates, business partners. We all work together. Yeah.
Anything else?
So if you were hiding on the lane over, like talking about that, you know,
Exactly.
because I know, I think it's on the officer that I know Marshall got you, and they were just curious if this was like going by that or something. Okay.
You're right, absolutely.
So once you left, after you left your body, once you left, did you ever go back to that same spot? Yeah. Did you ever go back at all? Okay.
I had no reason to. I didn't see.
So that's a strategic question because many people who murder others go back to the crime scene. They go back for different reasons, for validation, to see it again and get the rush, to move the person, to move the body so it doesn't get detected. So he was asking that question for a specific reason. And if you've never done an interview and an interrogation, you would know that. But he was trying to get some information out of me. Did you go back there? Did you move her from a different location? Did you do anything else? And he said no, he had no reason to go back there.
Oh, we had the phone. Her phone, yeah. You find that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was left in the car. It was in the glove box.
Right. So the same court, did she give you the phone when she got in the car or that?
No, just after the whole she didn't give me the phone. So I got the file.
Right.
You know, choker or whatever. Okay. She didn't give it to me.
Because I mean, like,
Yeah, because you will later come back. Okay.
Did you rape her?
Did I rape her?
Yeah.
No, but we had sex. I didn't rape her. I know you're curious about that. I used my charm to get in the car, and we had sex consensual. And this is what I do with women, you know. I use my charm, I use my good looks.
Again, friends, this is difficult to listen to because they talk about, he talks about having intercourse and sex, anal sex with Diane Ruiz. Again, this guy is not somebody that, he tells a lot of stories and a lot of embellishments into the stories. And we've heard him tell so many different stories up until this point. So again, this is difficult to listen to, but it's part of the audio.
That's what I did with the first girl, and that's how I got her in her bed, and look what happened to her. Same story for this. I just used my looks, and I'm wrong for that.
Well, since you brought it up, let me ask you about that then. First girl, how'd that all happen?
I met her in the bar.
Okay.
Went up to her, back to her, got it.
Just like that.
So, forward. Yeah.
Do you remember where you went after that? After the bar, do you remember where you went?
Yeah.
What happened?
Dude, Thompson. We went to, oh yeah, we went with the guy at the bar too.
Okay.
And he drove my Hellcat because my girl is in stick shift. And he drove, it was me, him, the girl, and her friend. And we went to the dude's house first, party or whatever, you know, me and her had sex there, party. And then we all
Consensual?
Yeah, all consensual. Yep. And then from there we left and went to we left his house, he stayed there, and me, girl, her friend, went back to her house where she was found out.
Okay. So you, the girl, and her friend, the three of you, went back to her house? You guys go back to her house and all have sex with each other?
No, just me and her.
Just you and her.
And after lunch, and after like 20 minutes of being in the house, her friend left.
Okay.
And her friend left and went home, I guess, and me and her.
You know, when you listen to him talk about how he casually about his murder victims, he referred to Kristine Melton as the blonde chick. Like, it's just amazing that just days later, after committing these horrific, heinous murders, he's just talking so casually and nonchalant about them, and so with such disrespect. And then he goes and says to the detective, I want to just do the right thing to give Diane Ruiz's family her body back so they can give her a proper burial and she could rest in peace. No, you took peace away from her. You took peace away from these victims.
To like contact and do stuff, and then I killed her.
How'd you kill?
Strangulation.
Same.
Yeah, same way.
At that point, was she already passed out, or was she awake? And
are we gonna go? We're gonna take you to show you the body, right?
Okay.
You're gonna use some.
Are we going to go to Mickey D's and get some French fries? That's all he's concerned about as he's talking about this. He also he beat both of his victims about the face and body. I have, the printout and reading off of the injuries to both Kristine Melton and Diane Ruiz. Kristine Melton was hemorrhaging in the neck. She had major internal injuries. She also had contusions of both of her lungs and her colon. This is Kristine Melton. She had a scalp injury, multiple blunt force injuries, and bruising on her neck and face. So he's full of shit here, folks. He's telling the detectives that it was peaceful, that he choked them without any resistance, and that he strangled them to death. That is not the case. The science does not show that. The autopsies, the medical examiners who testified, these are the injuries that these human beings had. He did not just strangle them to death. He beat them and strangled them. I don't know if he did it before or after, but it wasn't just a strangulation, as he puts it here. But now he's asking for French fries from Mickey D's.
I haven't eaten all goddamn day.
I'm doing this for you.
Again, I have to get authorization from them to take you out of here. You haven't made it easy having to wear all this shit.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's true.
it's been, I've done it before. Okay, I'm just saying. So that first girl, you choked her out.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do?
No, leave her in bed. No, I wrapped her bed up. She wrapped her up, tied her up. Where you guys found her. So I did that.
And then where'd you go?
Then I got in the car. And then I went to my girl's place first. No, can't remember. I think I killed the other girl first, and then went to see my girl. Yeah, I did. So I got the other girl.
No, you went to your girl's
first. Okay, I went to my girl's first. That didn't work out right.
Right.
And then I went back to the game like that. Somehow I found my way back to the game. I didn't even need to go there. And I was like, you know what? I've already done it once. I'm gonna do it again. And I was on a lot of drugs. Whatever dude comes to me went to the next before, he kept giving me so many drugs. I thought I was going to cocaine. It wasn't cocaine. It wasn't.
Nonchalantly again, he said, right again here, it's premeditated. It's showing the premeditation of Wade Wilson. He said, you know what? I did it once. I'm just going to do it again. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is himself telling the detectives that he knew he already killed Kristine Melton. He's like, I did it once. I might as well just go and do it again. Unbelievable.
It's been like that because it just made me lose my fucking mind. I do cocaine, so we know what cocaine is. You know, nowadays people are doing fentanyl and all this other bullshit. You never know if you're doing cocaine or not. Whatever came is giving me a lot of it just made me fucking get crazy. It made me get real crazy. I'm not that type of guy. I'm normal and stuff. I'm sober. I'm actually like a decent guy. When I get that way, I become the devil. Because it's really yeah, I was just randomly driving around, randomly saw that girl walking. That's the one.
How come you didn't kill your girlfriend?
Sweet people around. And it was actually like, I mean,
You got feelings for her?
yeah, it's love. There you go. So I wouldn't kill it. I would never kill it. I might hurt her a little, whatever, because she does stupid shit to me and get me in trouble. But I would never kill it. I would never, even if I was probably so out of my mind. But I don't know. I can never say if I would or not, right? It's just on my mind, so who knows, yeah. So, but I probably wouldn't kill it, you know.
So he basically says in one sentence that I love Mila, I have a relationship with her, I wouldn't have killed her, I probably would have hurt her, which he did. He punched her in the face, he beat the shit out of her, and he was ready to drag her in the car where he was committing all of these crimes. And then at the end of the sentence, he says, you know what, I probably would have killed her. You know, so this is how fickle this guy is, and this is how all over the place he is. But one thing we do know is he is a murderer, and he is in the right place. He needs to be put down ASAP, as soon as possible.
Give it a chance.
Did either of these women?
They're not screaming, real quiet, real discreet, real quick.
That's bullshit. It was not real quiet. It was not real discreet. It was not real quick because you bludgeoned them. You beat them. Okay, so Diane Ruiz had a broken nose and she was run over by your car that you were in 10 to 20 times. This is not peaceful. This is not discreet, as he says.
Just a lot of red blood sloshing out of their mouth, defecation.
Did they fight back at all? Did you get any cuts?
So, neither one cut me, neither one touched me. Neither one even got their hand on it.
Did they do anything like the blonde girl in her house? Yeah, did she, after you guys were having sex, was there something like, did she do something that just, yeah, no, it's just like, taking that next level and fucking pretty much or what? I mean,
I'm so crazy when I'm on drugs that I don't necessarily say fuck it. I just say, it's just a rage inside. I don't say, it's not like I'm like fuck it. It's just like a rage overcomes me and I don't think correctly, I'm not thinking properly, and I guess, you know, it comes across my mind, just murder. Just murder. Just kill.
Murder, kill. That's what comes to his mind when he's doing drugs. This is a chilling confession from the murderer, Wade Wilson. This is a chilling confession because he talks so nonchalant about it. I've been around many people who have confessed to committing horrific crimes, but he is just so whatever about it that it's frightening.
I mean, and I'm not trying to be a dick.
For sure, I'm not think I'm just happy for it. It's true, man. Some decent people get on drugs and they really become like murderers. And I guess I do. I've done the ultimate crime. You know.
Did you feel better after that? I mean, like, I didn't
feel better. I felt like, honestly, once I started coming down, I didn't feel better. You know. Once I started coming down on the drugs, I felt like, oh shit, I had fucked up.
All right.
Yep, I fucked up and keep going.
You got some more dope yesterday after Stephanie?
No, whatever that's doing that, they're doing something, whatever.
And I want to say too, and I'm sorry I keep stopping this, but this detective was getting the names wrong as well. So you know, he should have had Kristine Melton's name correct and Diane Ruiz. He keeps making mention to Stephanie. I don't know.
Yeah, like non-block or whatever the fuck it was, dude. It was not okay. I can tell the difference. It give me a lot of that shit had me up for maybe it was messy. It had me up for like 2 days, or a day and a half. I mean, I didn't need anyone to like even once I fucking came to jail, I was still hot the next day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Jesus Christ, I was still hot. So I just ordered more dope. Yeah.
So the first girl, you just stole a car, and that was it. You used that car to drive all over the damn place.
Just like an idiot. It was only fair. The only car I had, because my car was way over by the guy's house somewhere, parked on the side of the road, ran out of gas, I took an Uber back to her house and not my car. And then my girl came and got her car or whatever. And so I just drove to the girl's car, and I was gonna, I was really basically what I was gonna do was try to just get out of here. I was gonna try to run and hide for a while. And then,
That's right. Josh for a bus ticket.
Yeah. And my girl. I asked my girl too.
What'd she say to you?
I'll get it for you. I'll get it for you. But I felt like she was on the phone with the cops anyway. She was telling me where she was. She always was. And she's telling me where the fuck I'm at because she told me to go to Joe's crap shack and cops. So she was trying to set me up. She said, I'll meet you at Joe's. I said, I'll meet you at Joe's. She said, okay, I'll meet you at Joe's. Then here come the cops. She was trying to set me up, but it was because my love for her, I was falling for her, I was on drugs, and I know I needed somebody. It was all fucking bullshit. So I was going through it.
Gotcha. I was wondering how or why you went over there to Joe's Crab Shack. And
not the way to went over to like kill her because he had confidence. She said meet me there. Yeah, she said meet me there, and then she set me up, and they tried to get me.
Yeah, you had the first girl had her phone.
I did.
You used her phone as well.
Correct.
How'd you get in it? It says a passcode.
I think she was letting me before I killed her.
Okay.
So it was just like let them lock or something like that?
Well, it kept me locked. I used it after I killed her. Okay. Most of them have because it was locked. The only time actually I used it after I killed her, you know what I did? I held her face up, just face on.
Oh boy. This is another part of this interview that was, again, stood out to me as shocking. He just said here, I unlocked the phone while she was alive. I made her unlock the phone and I was using it. And then he goes, oh, wait a minute. After I killed her, I held her face up to the phone to do the Face ID unlock. And he says it's so, like it's so normal. I just held her dead, lifeless body and her face up to the phone and unlocked it.
Yeah. Okay. And then I used most of them have because it was locked. The only time actually I used it after I killed her, you know what I did? I held her face up, just face on the face. Yeah. Okay. And then I used it, but then I must have used it later because it went back to lock. I think I don't know if I left the phone there, or if it was in the car, or if I threw it. I don't know where. I don't know if you guys found the phone at the house.
Her phone?
Yeah.
I believe her phone was in the car as well.
Yeah. Okay, they were both there. Okay. Yeah.
Still inside the car. Okay. There's something else that I wanted to ask you. There's another question, dude. I know there was.
That's for sure.
I apologize, I didn't interrupt you, but, when you wrapped up the first girl was Stephanie, I think, the blonde girl.
Yeah.
You wrapped her.
Again, this is bad on the detective's part. He's referring to Kristine Melton as Stephanie, not to get anybody confused. There's no other person, no other victims that they're talking about. The reference to Stephanie meaning Kristine Melton.
Blankets or whatever. What were you trying to? Were you thinking about maybe taking her with you or something? Yeah.
You're gonna put her in the car and explode the body. She was just too fucking heavy. Rigor mortis was hard to take it. Body was way too much. Plus, we come sunlight outside. And yeah, it was definitely jacked at each other. So it was all wrong.
Did you lock the door when you left too?
I believe so.
Okay, I like the just the body. Yeah.
So looking into some prior reports involving you, a bunch of this has happened before.
What was interesting here too is that the detective was going into asking about prior reports and prior crimes. He said, he shut him right down. He said, I don't want to talk about anything prior. I want to talk about now. And some people in the chat brought up maybe he might have murdered other people. Maybe there's open murder investigations that Wade Wilson was involved in. Well, you know, they have his DNA, they have all of his stuff on file. If there is any open cases, they could actually match them up, but I'm not so sure about that. But that is a possibility. Joining me is my good friend, Timmy Acosta. He's going to join just to give a little bit of, of his take. He's conducted many, many interviews with heinous criminals like this. Tim, thank you for joining. You've been listening so far. What's your take on this callous, cold-blooded murderer?
Hey, Ron. So, to me, it sounds like this guy is, he's almost bragging about what he did and the details. He's talking about it in a way where it's almost satisfying to him to tell these detectives every single detail. I've heard this many times with people who have done multiple murders, where this is something that they look forward to, where they wanted to give the details and brag about it. I've done interviews on people who have committed one murder, and a lot of times they'll say, well, I blacked out. Now that's somebody who's not a cold-blooded murderer. They lost touch with reality for some reason and did a heinous crime and heinous act. With somebody who's done multiple murders, like in this guy's case, this guy sounds like he's bragging about it. And he wants to give all the details, like, yeah, I did this, I did that, we did this. He's very detailed and a little bit grotesque with some of the stuff that he's mentioning. Yeah.
He also leans on the crutch of that he was on drugs, and that he actually went again back to the perp that was with the person that was with him that drove the car, because he couldn't drive the Hellcat because it was a stick shift. But he went back to Jason Shepard, and he said, he must have given me something really bad, and he makes a mention to other different items and other different drugs in this interview. But that's the only little iota of why he was trying to justify or making justification. The rest of it, as you said, Tim, is him gloating about what he did. And he was proud that he felt like by him telling the detective that it was quick and that it was he made it sound like it was a peaceful thing, and that was the disgusting part about it. Making those excuses, just despicable. We're almost halfway through with this, so let me just let the rest of this play.
But nobody's ever died before, at least the reports I've read.
Right.
So why didn't you kill any of them?
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So he was asked. The detective was asking about his violent past on some of. He had over 20. I think he had 20 arrests, and he did time quite a bit of time in and out of jail. He was probably in jail more than he was out. But he has quite an extensive assault history. So the detective there, Tim, was just saying, hey, why didn't any of your previous engagements and encounters with women and assaulting women end up in a murder? And he said, I don't want to talk about it. Interesting.
Fair enough. Come on, man.
Yeah, you hear him? He said, let's go get the body. Because Diane Ruiz he's admitting to the murders, and he admitted to his father and 2 others the night of his arrest. And now a day and a half, 2 days later, on the 10th, he's now saying, let's go get the body, because he wants French fries. It's amazing.
Ron, so one of the things I think as well is he just wants to stick to this case because he knows he's done in this case. He's cooked. Okay. So he knows they know he did these 2. Whatever else he's done, they have no proof, no evidence that he knows of that they can link to him. He knows they've got plenty of evidence in these 2 homicides to charge him. So I think that, may be preventing him from giving any other stuff, even though at this point, I think it's kind of silly because with these 2, he's done.
Right. Yeah, 100%. And he knows it.
Yeah.
But he keeps going right back to that food. He's very redundant in his requests for the McDonald's. And then after he tells a little bit more details, he asks for additional items, and they make an actual joke about it. I think he asks for a McFlurry as well.
I know this is big. I don't know you guys make that up. Like I do now, I'm feeling the mood, so you guys let's get this over with.
You're gonna be able to find it on the dollar.
Tell them right away. I'm good at what I do. I know how to set up. I'll show you.
There are houses or something. You said I'll show
show you right where it says, if not, you have to find out what it is. But if you want to just get over the climax, then.
One more question. You said that when you got her into the car, that she was going to show you where the school's at, right? So you drive her to the front of the school,
Right.
and then at that point you start choking her out
In the school park.
in the school parking lot.
Right.
You were there for about 3 minutes, I think they said. Right.
Yeah.
How did she have consensual sex with you if you had already choked her out?
Before when we were parked on the side street, we parked right there right before him. Before we even left the neighborhood.
By the school?
Not behind the school. The road that I picked her up on, it's a couple roads over from the school. Maybe like 3 or 4 roads over from the school, and on the side street, whatever. The shop as soon as she lived on the road, probably at the end of the road. And I parked on the end of the right there.
So you're driving up the road, right, going past the school, and then you look up, you're like, oh shit, there's a woman walking.
No, I just pulled through a random neighborhood and saw her.
And she just happened to be walking through the neighborhood.
Because I was really driving, honestly, I was driving trying to find my way back to Fort Myers. So I'm just cutting through roads with just random shit that I couldn't figure it out. And I was just trying to find out.
Kick off a bitch, dude.
Kick off the motherfucker, bro. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
You know, you start working there and you have to go to calls and try and, you have to get to where you're going. It's not easy.
Is it on the her or no?
To be honest with you, I never like used the condom myself. Okay. I think obviously they got, but,
Again, sexual crime, sexual assault here. He's bragging that he doesn't like to use condoms, and that he goes on to say that all of the women that he has sexual intercourse with, that he rapes, he does not use a condom. And he says, but I'm a clean guy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
okay.
Just vaginal sex or oral or not?
I don't even think I'd be fucking vagina.
Okay.
You always just do anal?
I like anal better. Better for me.
Not bad.
Yeah, me and Kristine with that girl, we had equal in basketball. Because she wanted basketball, that's the only reason I did it. This girl didn't care. So I was like, okay, cool, I'd rather handle anyway. So whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. What time you got?
8 o'clock. We're good, man. Patriots don't even play yet. We're fine. Okay. You gonna fall asleep on me?
I'm eager for this restaurant.
Or they hit you.
And you still take drugs?
Stupid, right?
Well, yeah.
Tim, he's just eager to get those French fries.
Yeah.
He's looking for a little payment back for him talking and giving all of the information that he's giving. It's almost like it's like his reward,
Right.
I've seen that before many times, Ron. I've seen that where it's either a cigarette, a drink, food.
Right. How many times have we responded to Rikers Island when an inmate like this wants to all of a sudden give a confession? It doesn't happen often, but it definitely happens. And he went to the Lee County correction officers and said, I want to speak to the detectives. I want to tell them what happened. And so he was being adamant about speaking with the detectives. So he was eager to get this, to tell his story. And when he's talking with this detective, this is 45 minutes. He seems like he's gloating. He's like, his chest is out and he's proud of what he did. That's what makes it even more insane when you think about it. It makes it more vile that he can just talk about this. And now he goes into about closure for the family, and I want to do the right thing. This whole thing goes in a crazy loop. So.
And then now I get hallucinating and trip. And I see things out there, I hear things, I look for, it's like crazy shit. I become, it's crazy.
Quickly, I just want to acknowledge Wade Wilson's biological dad, Steve. His wife was just in the chat. I highlighted her message. Melanie, good to see you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for communicating with me on the side. I send a lot of respect to you and your family. What you guys both did on the day that this occurred in 2019 is nothing shy of heroic, because to have Wade's father, Steve, have him turn himself in, have him, talk to the authorities, because he mentions here about his dad. He mentions about Steve talking to him and telling him to do the right thing. So kudos to you guys, and it's a parent's worst nightmare. What I'm saying here is that this
Absolutely.
is a tough thing. Yeah, it's a tough thing to go through, but you guys did what was right for justice. So heads up and kudos to you guys. Much respect.
And now I'm my whole life because I couldn't stop taking drugs, just being home after. And now I'm going to prison and doing stuff.
The girl that you picked up by the high school schools, when you saw her, did you already kind of have it figured out in your mind and you knew everything you were going to do, or were you just going to you just want to have sex with her at first? I mean, what were you thinking?
No, I figured I could get sex with her, and then I was going to kill her.
So you kind of knew right for it just when you saw her, that's what you wanted to do.
Maybe. I mean, I kind of wrote it there, but I guess I just wrote it. It's not like I pre-planned.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just you wanted to have sex first.
Basically, it's just not weird. I was really worried. When I get on drugs, I become crazy. I become like a fucking bulldog. And so I was like, the easy peasy pussy. It's all they want. When she was strolling or whatever, it's early in the morning. I was like, whatever, I give it a shot. Usually when I give it a shot, that works for me. And it did,
So then at what point were you like, you know what, fuck this, I'm killing her?
I don't know, just not long after that, for sure. I don't know. I guess I was just like, fuck it, kill her. I was already fucking on the stroll. I was already fucking one down. Felt like my life was over with anyway, so it makes no sense. But yeah.
Do you remember what she was wearing?
Yeah.
What?
Blue shirt and jeans.
What color blue?
Like, not like that.
Sky blue, light blue.
Just a little darker blue. It's just like teal.
Can you kind of describe what she looked like? Is the picture of the girl I showed you?
He didn't hesitate, Tim, on the clothing description. Again, this is just 3 days in the past, so it's fresh in his mind. This interview happened, as it says on the screen, October 10th of 2019. The murders took place on October 7th. Just the way he talks here, and the way, again, he's just so, this is just mechanical. This is like, I did it. My life's over. I knew I might as well just do another one.
Yeah. Being able to recollect, the every bit of the details that he's recollecting and he's providing to these detectives just shows his, my opinion. I mean, it shows his mental state. That he was aware of what was going on. He was aware of what he was doing. He was aware of all of these little details, what they had on, the conversation, everything. And he's replaying it to these detectives and giving them this statement.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I showed you the picture yesterday, same girl?
Did she tell you her name at all? I don't know if you remember.
I never knew her name. But she had a black on, teal shirt, jeans, shoes, black burner.
Did she tell you where she was even walking to, or?
No, she said going to work, but she told me she was going to work.
I just didn't know if she told you I need to do this. You said she needed a ride somewhere after, or no?
No. She did not need a ride after. Which is then when I started showing her, she was getting out of the car. She just said, drop me off here at school.
Okay, that's okay.
And she got, I could tell at that point she was getting scared.
Right.
I saw the fear, and I think the fear triggered me to
do something.
Because the reward, she was going to say something about you, or let it shit on you, or something.
It was going in the right direction. I could just tell things were off. She wanted me to pull over, and she really wanted to get out of the car. At this point, I could tell she was getting, I could sense your fear. I'm like a part of mine. I'm like, look, you're the prey. I can sense it. And she wanted to get out.
There's that reference that he makes, that he was the lion and she was the prey. And he said that he could sense her fear because she could sense that something was not going on right. And you know what, Tim, I even have my doubts about this sexual component that he's portraying for Diane Ruiz. I don't think, and unless I see the autopsy or there's proof of it through, and I have to do a little bit of homework on that to see if that came out in court, but I don't think it did. But they would be able to tell, obviously, if there was sex, right? Anally, as he says, right?
Yeah.
With tears and so forth. So again, the detective circles back here and calls him out on bullshit in this interview. Just in a minute here, he says to him, "I think you're full of shit. I don't think that you had consensual sex with Diane Ruiz. I think that you are full of shit." And I love that he did that. I love that this detective did that.
You know,
go ahead, Tim.
So one of the things I noticed with Wade Wilson right from the very start, where I started looking at this case, really only a couple of days ago, right? So I know it's been in the news. I haven't really been following it until recently. So one of the things I noticed right away is he likes to read people. And it looks like to me right from the start where he got scooped up by the marshals and then transferred to the local sheriffs and then brought to the jail to be interviewed by the detectives, he's reading everyone. Everything that I'm looking at, that I'm getting from him and the way he's acting, what he's saying, he's reading every one of those people, every one of those cops, every one of those detectives. He's reading them to get his opinion of them. From the one guy that appeared to be a rookie to the other one that appeared to be a training officer, who he got off to a rough start with, right? And then they kind of mended and like almost became like friendly talk back and forth about tattoos and whatever else.
Yeah.
He's reading them just like he's reading the female detective, and he's trying to suck information out of her while she's trying to get information out of him. This is not a dumb guy. This is a guy where, he's describing himself as a lion, right? And these people, are sheep or prey. I could see that with him because this guy he reads people.
Yeah. And Tim, he's been doing this his whole life. He's been sucking the life out of everybody as it pertains, and probably not a good choice of words there, but he used his father, his biological father, when they got reconnected for money. The only time that Steve would hear from him is he needed something. And look, let's be honest, our kids, they do call us when they need stuff, but
sure.
Wade would use anybody and everyone that he could get what he wants out of, whether it was drugs, money, housing, clothing, every aspect of his life was taking from somebody. And he would use, by his own admissions, his good looks and his charisma and his ability to connive. So let's just listen to the rest of this because we're almost to the end.
And obviously go and just kill it quick. And it's not hard for us to do it. It takes 2 minutes and I don't get scratched, I don't get hurt. They're quiet, they don't get along, they can't get away from me if they want to become too strong. I mean, I don't look strong, maybe not necessarily fighting, believe it or not. I hate to say this as much, I can take either one of you guys down. And it's because I'm well trained, I've been through a lot of shit in my life, a lot of prison time. I know the points in your body to touch to stabilize you, cut you off quickly, just things like that. Unless you're Marine or fucking military training, there's a good chance I get overpowered. So those are the people that I go out, I'm good. And like in the military, or no, I haven't. I've been in the military, they trained me, the time I'm president. I'm just all the way around. And so that's, I just knew that it was not here. I didn't want her to report me or anything or say it's a suspicious guy or something, so I just went in and do what I did.
Do you remember the old lady over on Del Prado? I'm sure you probably don't know the name of the street. There's an old lady that you were talking to and you were banging on her back on the eye trying to get into her house. Remember that?
Yeah,
What happened with that?
I remember that. I was in there for directions, basically.
Right.
I was still like bugged out on drugs. And she probably intimidated having to.
Yeah, you freaked the fuck out.
Yeah,
I mean,
no question in my mind, if that lady would have engaged him, he would have killed her.
100%, I agree.
Wholeheartedly, I would bet my pension on it. I would bet my pension on that anybody and everybody that he would have come in contact with, on that particular day, he would have killed them.
I use your guys' phone, but I'm so on the drugs or whatever that like I can't even ask. I can't even ask them questions. It's like I'm just fucking. Just some weird, I'm weird on drugs, I'm violent, weird.
She said you were pulling on her back screen when I was trying to
get out of the room.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting your goddamn phone and call my girl and give me the fuck out of there. I tell her where I was at and have her come pick me up.
How'd you pick that house?
Random.
Just driving?
Everything I did was random.
You were close to Fort Myers at that point.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, you were.
Was that before or after? Before the girl was school.
And then you drove in the complete opposite direction.
And then that's what happened. We got running through. I got long, and I was long gone in the opposite direction. Yep. I remember that. I do remember that for sure.
Do you remember any of the names of the major streets that you took to go back to Fort Myers? Do you remember seeing any street signs or? Just
Gregor.
Finally, you got
that on the Gregor. Finally made it on the Gregor, and then it was a straight shot.
Okay.
I'm sorry. After the girl with the lady in the school, I know you got lost for a little bit. Did you, after that, stop anywhere, or were you just kind of like driving in circles a little bit? I mean, did you go into a store anywhere, or did you like just fucking, you're just driving?
I was at pants and shoes and a shirt. So I knew I couldn't go anywhere. I just drove the whole time. Okay. I never stopped. I drove and started driving.
Where were all your clothes from the night before when you were in the club?
We went to that Thompson.
Right.
And I made love to that girl at the Thompson first.
Right.
And the only thing I put back on when we left, getting the Uber ride with the
Why'd you put the rest
my shirt? I'm fucking hot, bro. And, I left my shirt, and I left my shoes at the top.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what he does, like, I'm not sure if you remember that.
And you said you had the Hellcat at that point? You didn't know how to drive it?
I don't know how to drive it. He's the one that drove it home. He might have that. From the log.
So you Ubered back to those chick house?
Yeah, she bought them for that.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the bar you were at?
I think you're right. Yeah, Buddha.
You went to Buddha?
Yeah, I'm a Buddha.
Did you guys, was that the only bar you went to with Buddha that night?
Me and my girl went there initially, and then my girl was going to go with this other guy to make the money, doing something, and then I was going to go with these girls, and I don't know, apparently she didn't go with the guy, and she left along with her friend or something, and then I went and did all this shit.
So yesterday when I was in here with you, talking with you, I was with a different detective.
Right.
I asked you all these questions. You just straight up lying. Did you kind of think?
And he even admits to straight up lying to the detectives when they were asking him questions, because up until this point, he was pointing the finger at the guy, Jason, that drove the Hellcat. It wasn't me, it was him, So, but he admitted to his girlfriend, his father, his biological father, Steve, and the former employer that he drove over into the Keys to. And he asked them all to get him out of here because he killed 2 people.
Figure that at some point that we would, figure it out, or why the change of heart? Why'd you want to? Your dad told you to?
This is the part that I was talking about, and I know Melanie, Steve's wife, left, but Wade's biological father, his wife was just here in the chat, guys. Melanie, we heard Steve tell on a jailhouse phone call, Wade Wilson, his son, his biological son, you got to tell the truth. There's people's families that are hurting right now. You killed 2 people. You have to tell the truth. And that's the best thing. If Steve in his whole life, I don't know what he's done in his past. I don't know anything really about them, but that moment right there was the best thing, in my opinion, that he could have done for his son. Tim, your thoughts on that?
I agree. I mean, I kudos to Steve, because you know what? I mean, we could clearly see, even Wade mentions, man, he was comfortable. He would have continued on a killing spree, in my opinion. I mean, the guy, it almost like fits right in for him, where it became easier, the first one, than the second one. He would have just continued.
Yeah, 100%. So again, I can't say it enough. And if Steve was here in front of me, I'd shake his hand and hug him and say you did the right thing, because
Absolutely.
He damn sure did. He damn sure did.
I asked you all these questions. You just straight up lying. Did you kind of figure that at some point that we would, figure it out, or why the change of heart? Why'd you want to?
My dad told me to do the right thing.
Your dad told you to?
And I want to do the right thing because I was a kid and a family, you know, and that these people are probably thinking maybe she's still alive. And they're hoping that their mom comes home or, you know, whatever, she's not going to. And I deserve to put the body back in the right hands of the family so they can lay her to rest.
Yeah.
You know, and I've already done wrong. And these people do the right thing now. Already fucked up, you know, but I'm on drugs now, so I know what's right. Thinking clear now. Yeah, I'm thinking normal things like you guys, even maybe, and yeah, I know that. Just put it back to the family.
Out of this whole gross interview of him admitting and confessing to these murders, that was the one takeaway that I found positive. Now, I don't know if that was sincere, but because that was exactly what his biological father told him on that jailhouse phone call. In the chat, if you guys heard that phone call, I know Brenda Rentman said that was one of her best calls, the best calls that we've ever played. But on that phone call, you hear Steve tell his son exactly what he repeated here. And that was just probably the previous day that they were on the phone talking. So out of that this whole interview, this to me was the best part to hear. So
they deserve to have the body of their drugs. I want to be able to do that.
Let me,
we appreciate that. Yeah, you're welcome. Sure.
let me go speak with these guys and figure out exactly what it is that
we got
to do to get you out of here. All right, so
you're breaking me out. Not exactly.
So that's another thing that they're going to try to discuss here, Tim, and then we'll wrap this up. You know, they did not find Diane Ruiz's body, the one who he ran over 10 to 20 times by his own admission. Her body at this point during this interview was not recovered yet. And we know that there was a Sergeant Justin DeRosa from the court, when we heard the court testimony. Him and police officers were canvassing the area of that school that he gave this info. As we know, when we interview and interrogate someone, if they give us information, we'll now get that information out to police officers and, you know, have them do a canvass. So they started a grid search, and this sergeant saw, but this is by his testimony, buzzards flying around in an open lot behind the Sam's Club, and they found Diane's remains. But I think that they used some of, obviously, his confession to put them in that general area. But they never took him out, and he never went out and pointed out where her remains were. He wanted to do that so he could get his food.
Yeah.
But,
so I've seen that done in the past where, you know, you take an inmate out and they'll take it to the crime scene to, you know, recover evidence. It's very difficult to do. Depends on who's got custody of the individual, because you've got to relinquish that custody a lot of times with a court order or with permission from the prosecutor's office to relinquish the custody from one entity to another to assume the responsibility of the individual. So it's a little bit complicated. It can be. I don't know in Florida how complicated, but it's usually a complicated process. It takes a little time.
Yeah, and Tim, this is a bad guy, because after this, we know many, you know, not many months, but a short time after this, he tried to break out of the Lee County Jail, and he also was smuggling in drugs, fentanyl and so forth, from the outside. He orchestrated this elaborate drug smuggling operation, and they got caught. He took out the frame of his window with his cellmate. One of the reasons he asked here not to be put into protective custody is he wanted to be in general pop so he can commiserate with his fellow criminals, and that he certainly did. So I think it was good that they didn't take him out, even though they have the cage cars. They could have done it very securely and safely. But, you know, my thoughts on this is that I would have got the food that he asked for. I would have got the McDonald's. I would have gotten like 3 things of French fries, big whole bag of shit. And I would have brought it into that interview room. And then I would have said, you get this when you tell us exactly where she is, and we'll go and we'll recover her. And you'll wait here. And as soon as we get as soon as we recover her, you can eat this. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I think at any point had he shut down and said, "Hey guys, I'm not going to say anymore till you give me something in return," I think that may have prompted them to go get the burger and fries or whatever he wanted.
Right.
It's not a huge ask. They
Right.
could have
No.
made a phone call and had it brought in, you know?
Exactly. I mean, I would have taunted this guy, and I would have been like, yeah, no problem. I'll get you piping hot French fries and a McFlurry and all this fucking shit. You can have whatever you want. But we need to have her body. We need to have her body recovered, and you're not doing it. We are.
Right.
Just hang here. We'll be right back.
Shout out to phone calls.
So basically,
Shout out to phone calls from prison. Thank you for allowing us to use this audio.
this is what my supervisor wants to know. He wants some basic information from you. Can you provide us with some details as far as like how far it is away from where you first met her? Like, are we going to need a fucking boat? Like, how far in the woods is it? Do we need a special type of vehicles? Do we need, just a car? Okay, so when you were first on Santa Barbara, that's the name of the road, out by the school, the main road. If I show you a map of that area, would you be able to?
I want to make sure I get to this fucking McDonald's, bro. I don't want you to be like, oh, well, now we know. I don't need you to say to me to take you.
Well, either way, just like I told you when we first came in here, I can't guarantee you or promise you anything that they're going to allow you to eat, hamburgers or french fries.
They girl is really gonna fucking do it, or else they're never gonna fucking find her because she's fucking ducked off. They're not gonna fucking find her. So if they want to know where she's at, they can try to fucking pack the fucking French fries to know where she's at, and they will. And I know they will. So I'll show you where for that.
So you're not willing to look at a map at all to give us an idea of where we're going?
I want to show you. I want to see the dead body. I remember this shit, how bad the fucking person was, and I want to.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
He's looking to relive his crime and go see the body again. I mean, it's almost it's sad.
a sick fantasy of his that he wants to see he wants to see his victim, and he wants to see how bad of a human. No, you know how bad of a human being you are, and he wants that little ride to get out, to have potential for him to perhaps escape or do something, or try to do something. God only knows what his mindset was at this moment. But we know that he wanted the fries, he wanted the food, he's getting angry. This is where he ups the ante and asks for the McFlurry. But the detectives got him to commit to that. He used the car because he admitted that he ran over with the car. So they know that it's not an area where they need an ATV or they need,
a boat, right? They don't need a boat.
They had aviation up, obviously, in that area. And they were scouring that area, and then the police found her without him being out.
I want to see what I did. I want to show you in person. That's what I want. This is what you want.
What I want.
I understand that, but you also have to understand, right? On my side, my situation, number one, I got to make sure that you're telling me the truth. And number two, I understand you are, because all the stuff that you said so far that we've asked you, you've checked out, and again, the stuff that you told us, only the person that was there would know that stuff. So I get it. All right. However, okay, on my side of the table, right? Number one, I have people to answer to. That's just number one. And number two is, as far as some of the details, all right, about what you had said happened, there are a couple of things that I don't think that you're telling me the truth about. So
this is where he goes into about where he told him about having sex with Diane Ruiz, and I love that this detective did this. He really goes at him hard here, and this is important. This is an important part of this video because he calls him out on his bullshit.
And one of them is and I'll be completely honest with you, is the part about you guys having consensual sex. I don't believe that she had sex with you consensually. I really don't. I think, in my opinion, that you choked her out and that you had sex with her while she was unconscious. That's what I believe. Because there's this woman, I mean, maybe the first one, I don't really know because of that case very well, so I really can't speak for that particular situation. But this case that I'm investigating with this woman who lives up by the school with a fiance and children and everything that I've learned about her, that I just don't see her having consensual sex with you.
Well, you can test like her body. I can figure that out.
No, I believe that you had sex with her.
This is where he goes on to say about how he uses his looks and he can make anybody do anything he wants. And this is where he doubles down on his craziness as he talks about, oh, I can get anybody, any married woman. I fucked as any and all that I wanted to get with my good looks and my charisma. Get the fuck out.
Right. What was that?
There's just options. You can test her body, and you can see, you can figure out. Yeah, it was consensual. I wouldn't lie. If I fucking tell you I killed this, I'm not gonna lie that I had sex with her.
Again,
I don't care if she's married and has kids. I've met many married and have kids females that I've had sex with. It's been easier than just picking them up on the street. I've had sex with so many Asian women that you would never believe. You wouldn't even know how I accomplished such a thing.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I believe you.
You believe it wasn't consensual?
That you had sex with her.
It wasn't consensual.
I don't believe that it was.
Consensual.
There's no way. You just picked her up on the side of the road. She's not going to bang you in the car while you just picked her up on the side of the road.
I've had girls hanging out their fucking hands for money, and I tell them, no, I won't give you any money, but if you bang me, if you fuck me, and I'll help you out.
And
it's been easy to her. I mean, I told her straight up, fucker, can you help me out? You're explaining all. I played the easy role first, like, hey, can you help me with this, that? Then, she kind of came my way, and I kind of told she was smiling, she was happy. And I just threw it out there, like, gave her the vibe, like, I'm gonna fuck, and then she did, just gonna kiss her. And fuck. It wasn't hard. It was really easy. It was not that far from her. That's fine, that's your story, Mark. I just don't believe it. I just don't, man. So, I wouldn't lie to you about that.
last thing, just like I said to you when we came in here, I can't promise you anything. You know, you want to do the right thing and asking us to come in here and give us all that information, that's great. But as far as whether it was, you know, giving you food and stuff like that, so I'll ask. But I don't get to make those decisions.
So you should have told me that at the beginning.
I did tell you that.
He said he has to check with our supervisor, so.
Oh, well, tell your supervisor that's what I want, and I'll show her where the body's at.
So,
And if that's the only way. So, we had a map. We show you a map, you're not gonna point anything on the map. Nothing at all.
I just want to fuck you. Here's what I want. I want French fries, a Big Mac, and an Oreo McFlurry. I'm not gonna have these things.
whoa.
The Oreo McFlurry is $10.
You're adding shit now.
Timmy, he doubles down. He wants a McFlurry now. Now you're adding shit onto the menu.
He's just trying to play them. He's testing them. He's just trying to play them.
And he's seeing that he's not winning. And when he doesn't win, that's when he shuts down. But stupid Wade, he's not a very bright criminal. He's already given up the shot. They've got everything they needed from him.
Absolutely.
And then some. And they're already, as we're speaking at this point in the audio recording, they're already out into that area searching for her. And then the recovery's made a short time after. But this guy has the audacity to ask for a flurry.
I'm not gonna have any shit for all of this. Hear me out for the rest of my life. I'm gonna die in prison and never get it up again. So just give it to me. I'll show you where it's at. I'm never gonna have a
He was right about that part. He is gonna die in prison. He got sentenced to death. It's just ironic that on October 19th, 2019, he already predicts his own fate. He knows that he's gonna die in prison. He's gonna die by lethal injection or the electric chair. He'll have his choice in the state of Florida.
I understand that.
I'm 90 years old and dead in prison. So somebody stabbed me. You can work a little bit with me, you know? I'm not gonna have the shit again ever. I won't even see a girl again. I'll never even see the McDonald's sign day in my life. Ever again.
You don't deserve it.
We would give you these things if it hasn't. It's not about us, but we set it up to our higher ups.
I gotta ask you a question about that. I'm gonna sound like a total asshole when I ask you this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You really think that you deserve that? Fair enough. I appreciate you being honest.
No, I'm reserved.
Do you feel remorseful for anything you've done on the past few days?
That's why
If you could go back in time to Sunday night before when you met, would you do anything different? You wouldn't have done any of that?
only we got on the road, yeah. We'll do this. Yeah, we'll change all.
Do you want us to tell their families anything? I'm gonna say you're sorry. I don't know.
I don't know what else to say.
So if the answer ends up being, if the answer is no, then that's it. You don't want to show us a trial. No, I did try. That's what I'm saying. So I'm asking you. They asked me to try with a map.
Tell them no map. I want to show you. And I want my trust. If they say no, maybe that's what I'll show you, but I'm not going to show you the map.
What if
What if I told you I can't show you the map?
why?
Just can't. What if I told you I physically can't? If I told you I know the landmarker is.
One thing I will say is that Timmy, he doesn't know directions. He said that from the beginning, like from his very first pick, when he got picked up the first time. He stays consistent about not knowing where streets are and where that area is and where he's going. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but he never changed that. He never changed that part about him not knowing. And he alludes to this, that he wouldn't be able to physically show him on the map because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But he already told them it was just a short jump from the school where he killed her.
You know, you hear him, Ron, and it's like, you know, he's that manipulator. He's testing them. He's trying to negotiate here. He's not in any kind of negotiating position, but he's still trying to manipulate and, you know, charm them into, and that's not a great word, charm them, but he is trying to convince them into, hey, you know, tit for tat, give me this and I'll give you that.
Right.
You know,
he's trying to play Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. You know, it's not working out for him.
And one of the things, Ron, one of the things that he never answered the question. Does he feel he didn't answer yes or no? Put it that way. Are you remorseful for anything that you've done over the past few days? He didn't say yes and he didn't say no. He said, well, that's why I'm here today talking to you, something along those lines. Right. That didn't answer the question if he's remorseful or not.
Right. They were looking for a yes or no out of that.
Yeah.
And they weren't going to get it out of him because he's just, you know, again, he'll just divert and he won't answer that question.
For sure.
That was a tough question for him. And we know the answer to it. He's not remorseful. He referred to her in the previous sentence as a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, like this guy's horrific, you know. But whining over McDonald's, as someone says in the chat, Bible lady, whining like a little boy over McDonald's and French fries. Amazing.
I know.
Okay, what landmarkers are there?
I have to show you. You're doing too much on that. You guys are working too hard. I'm going to make it easy for you. You're doing too much work. I just want to show you where. I just show you where. Now you're doing too much. Tell you. All right, go back to your sleep. I already told you, man. You want me to go to bed and not do it?
I know, but my thing is you said you don't want to take oral that well, and you were in broad daylight. It's fucking night out, man. How are you going to know where this place is?
No, wait until tomorrow. I know where it's at. I know where it's at. Like back to now.
Is it near the school?
Maybe not.
I want to work with you, maybe not.
I work for you, bro. I just admitted to a murder. That's pretty much two of them. That's working with you.
2 murders.
That's working with you.
I agree, and we appreciate that. We do.
So ask your supervisor to tell us that's what I want. He wants to McDonald's and just shows his body type. That's all you gotta tell us. See what she said. If she says no, let me know. I'll take it from there.
What if I told you that I don't need you to show me where it's at because I know where the body is?
You'll find it. You'll get it. But I don't believe you know where it's at. Now I want to get you love. Because it is so well that we went over with that for a while. And you're really going to make sure you don't know where the body is. I promise you don't.
I told you
You won't be able to find it.
I told you yesterday that I would find her.
You just find it.
I'm good at my job.
Yeah, but you didn't find it.
Yes, I did.
What time is it? 9 o'clock. We found her, what, how long ago?
1:30.
And you don't need it.
you still be willing to go out tomorrow and show us where she's at? Yeah? All right.
Or tonight, whatever you want. I know you didn't find her, because where I put her, you'd be able to find her. Where you find her? Tell me. Here we go. Again, you guys are good. Not that great. I know where I put her, you would not be able to find her. No.
You're wrong about this one, so.
I'm not. Where'd you find her?
Let you turn on the news, so, and you come for yourself.
I've already heard about this.
Oh, have you?
What they always watch about this, so they have guns about that. They're still looking.
I don't know when the last time you watched the news was, so.
How long ago?
I will let you know if we need you tomorrow.
Where'd you find her body?
Doesn't matter. At this point, it really doesn't.
I know you didn't find her. I can see it all over the place. You're good at kind of hiding.
I'm not good.
You didn't find her body.
I'm not good at hiding. All right. All right. Well,
When it came to my confession, you already knew I was guilty. You wouldn't have done it. You don't know what's about it.
why do you think I knew that you were already guilty?
Just, I know, you know, all right, well, I'll talk to you tomorrow. You know about it then. I'll let you go.
Don't forget to like.
All right, so shout out to phone calls from prison again. Tim, I want to just go, and because a lot of people are going to ask questions. Why at the end that exchange? I mean, I already have my thoughts on it, but I want to go to you because you have conducted more of these types of interviews than I have conducted. Why were they trying to call us bluff and saying that they already knew where the body was? What was that exchange about, in your opinion, at the end?
So, I think they were confident that they would find the body if they hadn't already. The other thing is, this whole thing with him wanting to go out, there's definitely some kind of very bad motive for him wanting to go out. And like you said before, probably for him to try and make some kind of attempt to escape. On top of going to relive that crime, and seeing his work of what he had done to this poor girl. One of the things I didn't like was he referred to her as it. You didn't find it. And then he went back to calling her, but his total disregard for, this woman by calling her an it. Yeah, disgraceful. Really disgraceful.
I agree. On so many levels, look, we're not looking at somebody who's going to face a trial. We're looking at someone who's already been convicted, sentenced to death, and he is on death row at Union Correctional in the state of Florida. And the state of Florida, it does take time because of all of the, various appeals that will go through and so forth. So we're looking at about approximately 20 years, 2 decades before he'll be put down. But in the meantime, he'll rot from the inside out, inside that correctional facility. He will have bugs crawling on him at night. He will have mold. He will have feces. He will have nastiness all surrounding him. And we know from experience that inmates that are in prison for long periods of time, they don't age well. They don't get great health care. He doesn't deserve that. And that 20-year wait or so that Wade Wilson will wait before he gets the death penalty will be the hardest 20 years of his life, because where he's at is not a good place. And, like I said, again, I want to thank you, Tim, for taking out, about 50 minutes of your time during the course of a busy work week. I'm at my office and I blocked off 2 hours to do this. I want to thank the replay viewers, the moderators, the people who keep this chat classy. But let's remind the supporters of Wade Wilson how deranged you really are. Listening to what we heard here today, if you send money, if you call, if you comfort this evil monster, what does that make you? I asked that question to not just our listening audience, but I asked that question to you, the person who, whether it's a man or a woman, and I know that it's, the overwhelming majority are these women, outside of our country, inside of our country. How good of a person can you be after listening to what this monster, what this demon just said in 45 minutes in an interview? And we'll hear more about this person,
sure,
this vile human being. But I ask this to you: what kind of person are you? What kind of human being are you if you can be a cheerleader for this type of monster? So we've seen it all, Tim. We've seen good, bad, and everything in
Sure
between.
have.
Evil walks amongst us. It's a dangerous place out there, and we take away from something like this. And listen, take this from where it's coming from. Trust nobody. If you meet somebody in a bar, or if you meet someone who is painting a picture that everything is honky-dory and I'm the best thing since sliced bread, be aware. And I'm saying this not just to the women, I'm saying it to the men. If it's too good to be true, it's not true. And Wade Wilson lived his life that way. He lived his life by finagling people and manipulating them. Don't let a pretty face. My partner used to say this to me, Tim, all the time. God bless Officer Bishop. He had 15 years on. I was a rookie. And when we were out on patrol and I worked with him, I think I had 3 years when I started working with him. He said, kid, don't let a pretty woman or a pretty face let your guard down, because they will be the ones to cut you from throat, from neck, give you he said a Cuban necktie, because we worked in East New York, so predominantly Spanish in that area. He said, you'll get a Cuban necktie before you can even blink your eye. So he said, don't let a pretty face let your guard down. And this applies to everybody in life. Don't let somebody pretty or someone who's, looks perfect. That doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect. So again, I just want to go to you for final words on Wade Wilson and what we heard here today.
I'm glad things turned out the way it did, where this person was taken off the streets. Society is a lot safer because this guy is off the streets. Glad his dad talked him into, making this confession and giving the details as clearly as he did.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. Many people are involved in justice for the victims and their families. Mila Montanez, Wade Wilson's girlfriend at the time, she was with him for 5 or 6 months. She also was instrumental in not only the prosecution part, but getting him into custody and keeping him on the phone, and Papa Steve and everybody that had played a part in testifying at the trial. It's not an easy thing for a civilian to come and testify at trial. It's very nerve-wracking. So all of them, I tip my cap to you guys all. You have a story to tell. Maybe somewhere down the line, they can come on and tell their story here about their experiences with Wade Wilson. I think it'll help people to understand and recognize the warning signs of somebody monstrous like Wade Wilson, because like I said, evil walk amongst us, and there are murderers walking free as we speak, that are people that are capable of murder, and people that have murdered are walking amongst us in society. All right, guys and girls, on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace and my good friend Tim Acosta, if it wasn't for this guy right here, let me get us closer. This man is instrumental in bringing Ed Wallace to us. He hates when I do it, but I have to do it. So thank you, Timmy, for introducing me to Ed.
You're very welcome, Ron. You're very welcome.
You worked with Ed's wife for a long time, and so you guys, it's just unbelievable that we were able to get this thing going. So on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, wish you guys a great day. Thank you again for being here. Make sure you hit the like button. It doesn't cost anything, and if you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. This has been our take, our analysis on the Wade Wilson confession video. Thank you all for watching, and good day. Peace.